Hey, what's up, everybody? Just hope that you're doing fine, wherever you are today. Now, this video that you're about to watch is a perfect example of how sometimes parents play a role in making their kids say some things. I'm talking about a story about this black lady who shares her experience in Latino schools where she was being discriminated because of her color. And now it is so painful that you, as a person, you go to a place where you look different from everyone, and now you are the center of attraction, and everyone wanna touch you, everyone wanna just look at you, and you look different, and people discriminate you, and people pick on you, right? Because you're a black person. And this is a perfect example. Like I usually say, this is a perfect example of how sometimes parents play a role in perpetuating racism, colorism, because what she went through is so traumatic, and she comes out and shares experience. I don't want to say much because this is her story, and she's sharing her story, and I'm using this platform to also share her story. So shout out to her. She's called, let me see her name. She's called Mahogany Jenkins. You could check it out and see what she got. She offers some good advices in some videos, but I like this one because she shares her experiences that I feel like people from the black community should not disdain from sharing their experiences and why these events sometimes are traumatic. So I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and we'll talk about this. Until then, keep watching the video. I'll be back.
Everybody, it's your girl Hago. Now today I want to talk about being the only black girl in the school.
By the way, guys, before I get started this video, I just want to say this video is not about every single Hispanic. I've had good experiences with Hispanics, and I had not so good experience with Hispanics. So guys, please understand this. This is about the experiences that I went through with Hispanics and the experiences that other black people have went through with Hispanics. Some Hispanics.
With Hispanics. So this is not to cause division. This is not to cause wars. I want you guys to just understand I'm making this to explain the things that I went through, how I became better, and what I've learned as a result. So let's get straight into this, okay? So I wasn't the only black girl. It was like me and like 3 other black girls, but this was one heck of an experience. I went from going to a predominantly African-American school to a predominantly Hispanic school. And I'm gonna tell you guys, with any race, I think one thing that's very important, diversity is so important, but also being immersed in your culture as well, because I wasn't really educated properly on my culture and I didn't understand the beauty of blackness either. I was in the 3rd, 4th grade when I switched over to the predominantly Hispanic school. And of course, most of these girls were Hispanic with, straighter hair, longer hair. My hair was different. So they would kind of look at my hair like an exhibit. I was made fun of for my hair, even with my skin color. Like I was ridiculed for my skin color. I was ridiculed for a lot of things compared to, certain people that compared to men, compared to animals that were dark. Like it was real crazy up in there. And one thing I will say, as I've gotten close and connected to my blackness, it's not to say that I don't support diversity. I do. But I think it's very important, especially in a child's younger years, to really be immersed in their culture. So if it's not at school, it needs to be at home. If it's not at home, it needs to be at school. Because what happens is, I remember so many stories. I talked to my sister and my niece. My sister told me about my niece, how she's going to school with a lot of white girls and now she want to straighten her hair a lot. Or my sister was telling me how she went the first dab with me as well, and she would look at the straight hair that the Hispanics girl had and how she wanted to wear her hair straight all the time. And it was just like, we don't really accept ourselves for who we are because we're not really seeing enough of us. And this could go with any race too. Another thing I want to talk about as well is the culture shock. The insecurity of, fully letting ourselves be. There was so much, and I actually became desensitized to my race. And even when the Hispanic kids would be very racist, like they would say stuff like, I've been called the N-word. I've been called, they would say stuff in front of me like, I don't date black girls, or they would say stuff. I remember I had one friend, she was like, she stopped being friends with one Hispanic girl that was her best friend, and me and her got close. And she told her friends, I went and, walked to her house, we walked to school together. And she was like, her family peeped that I was outside, I was black. She was Hispanic and white, and her family was Hispanic and white. So she told her family, they was like, oh, I see you got a different friend. She was like, yeah, I switched colors. And let me tell y'all something. It's certain things like that. See, now that I'm fully enveloped in my blackness, I look back on the things that I allowed those people to say about my race and say about me, and I'm just like, yo, you was desensitized, Mahogany. You weren't properly educated on your race. You weren't properly, you know, you didn't understand the significance and the beauty of being black. So that's why I tell you guys, that why I made that first point. Please make sure that your kids know their culture, they know their race, and they can respect other cultures, because the beauty of it too, I also learned the Hispanic culture. I know Hispanics very well. You know, I know the good and the bad. So it was beautiful to know other cultures, but it kind of like mine was being washed down. Mine was being suppressed. So even with certain friends, when they would make fun of my skin color, I would laugh it off. I would think of it as a joke. When they would say stuff about my hair, when they would say little things. I remember one friend, she was Hispanic, and she was like, oh yeah, because you know, black girls' hair don't grow like that. And then she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That was so mean. And I'm sitting on the phone like, no, it's fine. No, it was not. I should have cut off, did it there. But some Hispanics, and like I said, I never went to school with a lot of white people, but I have a lot of experience with Hispanics. And I don't hate Hispanics, but one thing I will say, and I want to encourage Hispanics to think about, is the way you guys treat and feel about black people. It's very apparent and obvious. And you really know how a race feels about another race based on the kids. So this school I went there as a kid, and definitely was ostracized because of my race, my hair, my skin color. But let me tell you guys this, I'm a substitute teacher, and I actually, you know, I sub all over the world basically. I ended up subbing back at my old school. And I had an experience with a little girl. This is what inspired this video. I was in a classroom, these were second graders. The little girl said, she came up to me, I was helping her. They were doing a story on minks, and I was helping her. And I was like, they were like, what is a mink? So I searched the mink up. Now, mink is a black animal, a little small black animal, like a little chipmunk without a bushy tail. And the little girl goes, that look like you. And when I tell y'all, I honestly, brushed off the trauma that I went through in that school, because I'm an adult now, I'm leaving it behind me. And it was a blessing to go back and still see that the teachers remembered me. It was like a little reunion. But even walking through those corridors, walking through those hallways, I was recalling certain traumatic memories. And when that girl said that, it brought me back. It brought me back. Like, I mean, it's like I time traveled to the past. And I really realized this school ain't changed. This school did not change. And coincidentally, I talked to a coworker there who is my sister's best friend's mother. And she just told me, like, this place is not for black women. And I was like, oh my God. So I told y'all that story, and that's what inspired this video, because I just really think it's important for a child when they're younger, because I just remember that trauma as a little girl and how it just desensitized me. It made me hate myself, separate from my culture, do my hair and wear my hair in ways I didn't want to wear it. It just felt like I couldn't be me. And I befriended people who weren't really my friends. We'll go over to these people's houses, and the parents were off and funny because I was black. So I just think it's very important for us to be more aware. For Hispanics, white people, any race, to be very mindful of how we treat people and be mindful of how we're raising our kids, because our kids are telling on us. Our kids are telling on us. And if you're a parent and you're raising a child, I never like to tell people how to parent. I'm not a parent. I'm not a mother. And the only person I can tell how to parent is my mom. But everybody else, I'm not about to tell you what to do, because I know kids are a lot of work. But I encourage you to really make sure your kid is super enveloped in their culture and really know who they are and are proud of who they are, and you instill that in them. So when they face situations like going to schools that are racist, going to schools where they're the only black kid or the only Indian kid or the only white kid or whatever, but this is mainly for black people, honestly. Black, Hispanic. This is for every race, to be honest, but I'm basically talking about this. I just think it's very important to make sure that culture is deeply ingrained in black people. Seriously, because we even have it in our own community. This light skin, dark skin thing that slaves started in the first, slave masters started. White people started that. So is this war even in the black community? I just think we really need to enhance our black pride, and we really need to pass down. That's why I'm making such a conscious effort on, making videos helping women embrace their natural hair, because it helped me get closer to my blackness. And just in general now, I'm so proud to be black, and I take the chance I take just pleasure in learning about my history and learning myself and trying to rise. And this is another thing I want to say. I'm not identifying with black struggle. I'm not doing that. There's so much talk, and I hate when I hear this. I tell you guys what I went through at that school, but the woman I am today, woo, no, don't play with me. Don't play with me. When that little girl said that to me, said, "That look like you, that mink," said, listen, I told her straight up. I said, don't you ever compare a black person to an animal. Don't compare anybody to an animal. I said, that is disrespectful. Out of the way I handled that, and I told her, and I educated that little girl. I said, that is disrespectful. So what I mean now is the pride that I have in myself, the way I'm just so proud of learning about who I am and why I do the things I do. It's just moved my life forward. It just made me better. It just made me a better person. And even though, like I said, it's just passed down. So not blaming my mother for not instilling it in me, but I just want us to be very mindful of the ways that black people, of the way we ridicule ourselves, and we try to stay in struggle. I will always be real about what I went through as a black girl. But one thing I want to make clear, like I said, this video is not to cause race wars. This video is not to cause a whole bunch of controversy. This video is to bring awareness and just say, despite what I've went through, I know who I am. And I know what I'm doing, and I know the impact that I'm making, and I became better after all of that. And I know for me, when I think about being what I want to see, I think about that all the time. And even though I went through all of that chaos and all of that, I just think about, at the end of the day, learning from it, learning how to stand up for myself, learning how to set boundaries, learning about my culture, just doing what I needed to do. And that's what I wanted to talk about, guys. That's what I wanted to go into today. Just understanding the importance of instilling culture in black people, helping them be confident in themselves and know who they are. Guys, we cannot watch the news 24/7, looking at police brutality 24/7. That gets into our minds that we're not enough, we're not good enough, we're incapable, we can't do this. It keeps us trapped mentally. I'm not living by that ideology that I'm hindered. I'm not living by that ideology that I'm not good enough. I'm not living by that ideology that I can't because I'm black. Listen, watch. Learn the science of black hair. Learn about black skin. Learn about black pride. And really become immersed in that. Pass it on to your kid. Help them understand who they are. and how amazing they are. Like, black people invented so much amazing things. Like, the bitches that we did, like, girl, Bob, my sister got a whole hair solutions trolley that she created. It's dope. I'm gonna put a picture. You know what? I'll just link it down below. Yeah, I ain't gonna go into that too much. But the whole point of this video, instill culture in your kids. Give them black pride. Be mindful of of what can happen when a kid is put in, I'm specifically talking about black kids, but when a black kid is put in an environment with primarily Hispanics, primarily white people, primarily other races, what that can do. And if that happens, like I said, make sure that stillness is in the home. Make sure if it's not at home, make sure it's in school. Another thing too, rise above it. I rose above all that stuff I went through at that school. I rose above it. I became better. And that's what I want all of us to do. We got to be aware. We got to know. At the same time, we got to educate ourselves, rise above it, be better, and not succumb to the ideology that we're not good enough. It's your girl, Hago. I'm signing out. Peace.
I don't want to say much about this video, but I feel like, yeah, the experience that she shares are really, really important, and everyone who is watching this video should know or should learn that parents sometimes make a great role in shaping how children perceive others, because for what I know, no child is born a racist, but they are taught to be racist. Because if these activities are happening in school, it means that children are taught how to be what they be. And Latinos for the longest time have been consistent in making black people look the way they look. So I didn't have much to say about this video, but I just wanted to share experiences. So you can go and check out her videos, and because that was so disturbing. And I've been talking about the situation about Latinos trying to look down upon black people without even knowing that these are people who stood with them. Like, I've been talking about civil rights movement, affirmative action, education, how black people, black men, black women have advocated for this. And so it is sad that such kind of fascism, bigotry is still happening even in schools. And why am I saying parents? Parents are the one who spend their time, because they tell on you, just like the sister said. Children tell on you. They don't have breaks. They don't have the conscience to say that, what I'm doing or what I'm saying is wrong. But they'll say it because they heard from someone who is above them, like age-wise. They'll say it because they heard from someone who they live, the someone who they look up to. And this is what they're going to be living and going with it in school. And so when they reach school, this is what they're going to be saying about you. So when the lady shared her experiences, I feel like it's important for all of us to try and understand these experiences, because they are traumatic. And it is important for anybody who have, who is not a person of color, and to teach their children the sensitivities that comes with telling other children some things. You might be thinking that they are kids, but this stuff will affect them long time, right? So I didn't have much to say, but all I wanted to do was just to share the experiences of this lady. And yeah, I learned from her pain, and I just pray you guys do better. You people who are racists, right? You try do better. Teach your kids some lesson. Like, tell them that you need to treat people with respect, accord people with respect, regardless of their color. It doesn't cost a dime, right? And even in schools, teachers also should teach, because what's the point of teaching people a syllabus and you can't even teach children how to live with other people who are around them? Understanding the lines within sensitivities that come with color, sensitivities that come with looking different as a black person or as a white person or as a Latino person, right? And these things need to be taught in school, because they play a significant role in shaping the life of these children. The upbringing of kids is really important, and teaching them the sensitivities around racism, colorism, it's important, because it's true, no child is born a racist, but they pick it from the environment. So let no child pick negativity about other people who doesn't look like them. Let them pick something positive. Let them celebrate what is called diversity, right? We come from different shades of color, so let them celebrate the diversity, that black people come with, right? Even if it's a black person, let them understand we have people with different shades of color, so that they don't act like they're surprised. They don't act like they're now going to be passing the misconceptions. They're going to be passing the stereotypes that they had from their parents, that they had from their relatives when they go to school, because they're all they're going to be doing is the reflection of what they had from people who are above them or people who are around them, or while they are playing. So it's important to always keeping this in mind, that sometimes you understand that it happens, but it is not worth making other people's miserable. It is not worth making other people feel like they're less of a human because you feel like you're of a different color. And understand, even the Latino culture, they identify mostly as white. They don't identify like people of color or relate with black people, right? So in as much as you don't want to identify with black people, please respect them, right? Because they're just human as you are. They want to be given space. They want to go to school the way you want to. They want to have friends the way you have friends, and they want to enjoy all these things that you're doing, right? So please, let's don't look down upon each other, and let's find a way of coexisting, living like other human beings. So this is a presenter Jintuk Stories. I didn't have much to say about this video, but general was just to share this lady's experiences on how sometimes people feel while they go to schools that it's non-black, right? This is what happens. So thank you for watching this video. If you're watching this video for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.